This talk would have been started before now. Please accept my apology. A very big apology to my professor. Please accept my apology for this. It was due to something that I couldn't control. Sorry about that, and also thank you for your patience and also for your belief in the ANSHK and also in me, who have been invited to give this talk. And also on behalf of other colleagues, which due to the similar reason they are not able to be here, please, I want to say all together, we are sorry. Please, you know us, we have not been like this, and I hope that you find a place in your heart to pardon us. All right. Also, before I start, I want to appreciate the executive for this opportunity to share my experience, because I was wondering how come, why did you choose me? Because I'm not the only citizen. Thank you. So, like, why did you choose me? Because I'm not an HR expert. I don't know much about this. I just try to make sure that whatever I can do, I try to do the best I can, and also to take the best opportunity open to me. So, given that, I was excited to pick it up and also to put something together to share with you, and so that the mistake I made, and I wouldn't want you to make the same thing. Rather, I want you to go beyond the successes I have also made. And so that's why today's talk will be on navigating through Hong Kong employment orders. So please, you can reserve your question and maybe point of clarification at the end of the talk. So here is my the outline of my talk. It's very short. Like I said, I'm not an expert in HR or employing people. So the first part is employment orders. I want to look at the general employment orders and see if they actually fit into Hong Kong settings. From there, we also want to look at the Hong Kong industry and the economy that we look forward to benefit from. And not only benefit from it, also to contribute, to the Hong Kong economy. Because I know most of us here, either you're a recipient of citizenship or the fellowship. So Hong Kong has been given to you. Then I think it's high time you give back to the Hong Kong government. I hope all of us, we all have that in mind, right? All right. And lastly, I will just look at these 3 P's. The 3 P's to success, in seeking employment. So let's start with the first one. So employment orders. We see that some of the things that people always face is that what are the opportunities? What are the career opportunities available out there? Maybe you just came to Hong Kong and you're just wondering, what are the career opportunities? What do I stand to gain? What do I stand to, being in Hong Kong and having Hong Kong certificate? What are the opportunities out there? And another thing that most people do not have answers to is that what are the skills that are actually highly sought after? What are the key skills that the companies like maybe the best construction companies in Hong Kong, what are the skills they are looking for? Maybe the best finance companies in Hong Kong, what are the skills they are looking for? Maybe the best IT company in Hong Kong, what are the skills they are looking for? And all this information, thanks to the internet, we can access them on the internet. So, but most people do not have this information. They don't have the information, and because of this, they go through a lot of they remain in a loop. What kind of loop are we talking about? The loop that every time maybe they apply for something and what they get in return, maybe a rejection or something like they couldn't skate through in the end. Maybe something is missing. And the next order is also the CV and the cover letter writing. I'm very glad. I know there's this Association of Nigerian Scholars in Hong Kong. So I also I was once in your shoe. We know in Nigeria there is a kind of format in which we write CV, you know, and the earlier we know that you know, that kind of traditional way back home doesn't work. Even now in Nigeria, I don't think it works. If you want to work in very big competitive companies in Nigeria, I think traditional way of writing CV doesn't work. And the other thing also is cover letter. You know, what are the skills? What are the things that you need to put together in order to have a good and convincing? Because you want to convince whoever is reading your application. And cover letter is the one way that you can convince them. And so the other part, the next two talks about the interview process. Yes, that's another hurdle. That, for example, if you invite somebody for an interview, even the day the person hears that, oh, this is an interview, or maybe the moment they enter the room, there's something like, you know, fear just, you know, give them and things like that. And I was once also like that. You know, what I'm talking about here is not that I'm that kind of Superman. No. Before you develop this kind of confidence in the face of interview, it takes time. You need to practice, and that's why even from our PhD program, our MPhil program, they give us opportunity to present before a set of committee, things like that, to develop our confidence, and also any stage fright, you know, needs to be kicked out before we graduate. And the other one is the success and failure management. Don't have the belief that if you apply any job you apply for, you always get, you know, an offer, or you always get accepted. No, there will be several failures and there will be several successes. And how do we manage this? How do we put it? These are part of the odds that people face, you know, all over the world. And the other ones are the self-confidence, which is, you know, it's also missing. You know, some people don't have the self-confidence. People also look at who and who can I ask for, you know, reference letters. Who and who can I ask for things like this? Who can I talk to? Things that some people don't know. Even some people, they can go ahead to use a wrong person, you know, that doesn't know you, or that cannot actually put a convincing evidence of your capability, of your ability to do a particular job. For example, I know Professor Marafa, you know, we agree with me, there's a way that you write a reference letter that the employer or the HR manager knows that this person knows this person, and he knows every, you know, the skills, you know, what he can do, and the problem he faces, and how he can, how he can solve them. So these are the employment orders I could come by when I was preparing for this talk. And so this is from a general point of view, and I want to convince you from my experience that this actually exists in Hong Kong. These are the things, some of the things that I face, and I believe some people are facing here in Hong Kong. So from there, let's quickly, just something to excite us. You know, like if we maybe before you came to Hong Kong, you were told that the unemployment rate in Hong Kong is around 10 or maybe 2 digits up, more than 10. Probably we're thinking that maybe it's not a good place to go and study. But the good news is that over the years, over the past few years, the rate has been going down, and currently is currently at 2.8, and which is the 2021 year record low. That's the lowest they have recorded in the past 21 years. And of course, we all agree that this is a good number. Even currently, US is at around 3.9 or thereabouts, but this is 2.8. So, and of course, they still term their economy as doing well. So this is 2.8. But the question that you and I could be asking is that in which industry do this job actually exist? You know, I said, oh, the employment rate is very high up there. It's very good numbers, but where are these jobs? Before I continue, I know that most of us are PhD, you know, we're pushing PhD, and I see that maybe when you start there, you always look for work. I mean, you plan to work in a university as a faculty, things like that. over the years, things are changing now, and you find industry nowadays trying to establish R&D on how to enhance their product. You see companies like Tesla, companies like Huawei, companies like Cisco's, and all those big companies, even the construction companies as well. They want to find a better way to minimize costs, to improve efficiency, and to make sure that their clients are happy with their products. And how they get those kind of things is through R&D. Some of them, because of the high cost associated with it, some of them actually outsource. They actually outsource such things to other companies. Because I remember in my first company, the first company I worked for, there is a company that made, I think if you have this TCL, they actually produce TV sometimes. I've seen their brand name on TV before. So this company actually outsourced their 5G research to the company I was working for, and they have some agreement. What am I talking about is that all these big companies, they also putting money into research, and it would be nice to work on things that are applicable to the society. I get it. Academic research is very nice. You can do things that don't get applied, in the real world. But you are. I don't get to. I don't get to. All right. So, but if you are in the, like where I am currently, we have a lot of interesting problems that we wanted to solve. But we're always careful that we don't want to solve a problem that cannot be used by consumers, that you and I. So we're always keen on making sure that we have solutions that are practical, and that can stand the test of time. So this is a very good number, and so where do this our job exist? Let's take a look at this chart. Although I came across this chart from the government website. It's one of the reports they released, and here it showed us that the trading and logistics take the largest percentage out of this, which maybe you are seated and say, oh, my program is not related to trading and logistics, things like that. We also find out that over the years, there's a steady growth in professional services as well as other products. So, and you begin to look at this, that where do I fit in? So, but there are some emerging industries which it would be nice for us to look at, such as cultural and creative industry, the medical services, educational services, innovation and technology, testing and certification, and lastly, environmental industries. And here, what we can see here is that all this, I know that some of us there's no explicit mention of academic-based programs. For example, if you are in civil engineering, we can say, okay, this is this. Maybe civil engineering. Maybe you can't find civil engineering in this chart. You can find mechanical engineering, material science, or something like urban, or something like building, something like. You can't find them explicitly here. What does that tell us? It tells us that Hong Kong is actually a skill-based job market. So, which means that wherever you go, if you go in there, it doesn't matter what the name of the industry is called. What matters is that what kind of skills can you add to this company to make the company better? And that's why maybe some of us, your supervisor will try as much as possible to acquire one skill or the other. You will try to, maybe there's a new method of doing something. You say, oh, want to learn this method, want to see how this method works. Of course, it's not for him, it's actually for you. Because when you go out there, they begin to ask you. Maybe some of us here who have done some interviews, you see how people question you about what can you do, not what is your degree, what's certificate, things like that. So it's actually a skill-based job market, and we need to know that. I know the reason for this talk is actually for all of us to be able to be successful in our career, either if you're going into the academics or along the way you get interested in the industry. We all want to be successful, and And when you get your dream job after your graduation, is actually what you see as successful. And maybe we are still pursuing, okay, I want to make sure I get. Your first job may not necessarily be your dream job. And what does that tell you? It tells you that you shouldn't relax. Even when you get your dream job, you still should not relax. Don't relax either, because there are a lot of people who want that job. So when you cease to be productive in that job, when you cease to be valuable in that job, they kick you out. Which means you continue to, I remember there was a meeting I was having with the director of our lab, in Huawei, and he was, so we're trying to have a new objective to our research, and he was talking about a kind of a new direction entirely. And I was telling him that, sir, this question is for the people who are experts in this area. He said, no, I want everybody to learn new things. I want everybody to take up challenges and learn it and pursue that. So what am I talking about here is that, we all want to continue to pursue success. We want to be successful in all that we do, and to do that, we all need to have the attitude. You can see the picture shown here. You can see the only one that is close, that is close to success is that how we do it. How we do it means that in the next moment, how we do it. Or in the next moment, I'm going to accomplish that thing. Which means that currently, I assume that you are doing something to accomplish that success. So, and I can't do it, I want to do it. How do I do it? I will try to do it. I can do it. All those things do not get us closer to success than I will do it. So whatever the future holds for you, whatever the challenges are in the future, and they're telling you, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. You need to have the attitude that I will do it, and I know we will do it. Okay, so here I look at success as something that everyone desires to be successful. Somebody will say, I want to be. Of course, everyone wants to be successful. Of course, it now depends on which domain we are talking about. Maybe someone says, I want to be successful in making money. I want to be successful in being famous. I want to be successful in getting more papers, in getting offers in industry or in academics or things like that. I want to be this, I want to be that. But only few actually love success, which means that there's a difference between desire and love. If you love something, there's a passion that is in you. There's a passion that, I must make sure I accomplish this. I must make sure I get into these things like that. But when you desire, I can desire and I will just stay there. So what I'm saying is that I want all of us to love success. I'm not talking about romantic love or somebody who's very success. Anyway, let's move on. So we can see that majority are just few steps away from their territory of success, and that's why we need to take further steps in accomplish that which we set our mind on. All right, so we just talked about success, then let's look at the 3 P's to success. And here I came up with these three P's: overshape, and here I call them plan, prepare, and persevere. And all this, it's like a loop. You keep doing that, you keep doing that, you keep doing that, you keep doing that, maybe until you retire. Maybe until you're tired of doing something of money. All right, you're tired of money. I don't know, maybe the elderly people are also tired of money. Maybe not. I saw them one day. They were keen for, I know it's a welfare or something. So they are not tired of money until they go down to the grave. They go down the grave. Anyway, so let's move on. So we look at the first one, which is the plan. So here I type this first informational plan for your big dream. We all have our dream. We want to become this, we want to become that. And here, this is the quote I got from the internet that says that a goal without a plan is just a wish. we all wish to have more money, but we need to set, we need to have a plan to achieve that goal. So, and we always know that when we have our big dream, we should know that what follows is to plan well. We need to plan well. What does that mean to plan well? It means that we systematically itemize all our plans to achieve the big dream, to achieve whatever we want to become or whatever we want to do. All right, so the other part, the next plan is that plan here is to seek answers in between the lines. What am I talking about is that a lot of how to, maybe you are there, you say, how do I know the industries in Hong Kong? How do I know the skills they are looking for in Hong Kong? How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do that? I will get into detail in the following slide. But here is that what I'm saying is that a lot of how to, a lot of how do I do this? How do I do this? They can be answered by reading articles. There are a lot of articles posted online. Maybe you are the one who is you like things being pictorially represented. You want to watch video. There are a lot of stuff on YouTube that talks about how to write, good CV, how to write good cover letter, how to prepare very well for an interview, how to answer interview questions. There are a lot of videos like that, and we need to take steps to do what to make sure that this is how I can get answers to the things I do not know. So these are just example questions that we can begin to pull down. For example, what are the skill sets required to be competitive in my dream companies or career? I'm not here to convince some. Maybe you say, oh, I want academic position, things like that, and you fix your mind there. This talk is not to convince you to change that mindset. No. This talk is just for you to be aware that you can, as much as you look forward to prosperity in academic setting, you can as well prosper in the industry. I remember when I was a student in ANSHK UST, a professor told me that, maybe Mr. Marafa also agreed. He said, most of you students, when you go to the industry, you earn more than the professor that taught you. And I was like, Professor, if you feel that they aim more, you just resign and go and stand the interview process and things like that. But that's just it. So maybe indirectly I'm selling the industry outlook, right? Don't worry.
Yes, sir.
So, but it all depends. Both are fine, but they have their flexibility differences. So you need to take note of that. And the other question is that what do I do? What do I need to do to build my skill set? All these things, they still come under the plan. That is, whenever you have this thing, then you'll be able to say, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. Planning actually involves you draft out the question and you draft out how I can get answers to those questions. So the other part in the aspect of planning is that is how we need to go, how we can go about networking, and of course, and also relationship. So why do we, talk about networking? What I mean by networking is that just meeting people you believe that maybe this is a HR manager or the talent acquisition recruiter, things like that. You just meet them, you should be able to send them invitation that I want to connect with you, maybe on the famous professional network like LinkedIn. So things like that. So why are we talking about networking? Is that I was very surprised when I heard about that about 70 to 80% of jobs are actually obtained by referrals. The people that you see they are working in big companies, they got those things by referrals, which means that somebody maybe is working in that company, knows you are friends, and the person now refer you to the manager. That this is my friend, I want to recommend him to you. And of course, LinkedIn is even doing that now. That if there's a job and they discover that there's a friend of yours that is working in that company, they will tell you that and you tell this friend to recommend you to this company. They do that, and I know some people also have received that kind of request, and gladly I did recommend. So the other part is about 85% of open positions are actually filled through networking. That's also an amazing, statistics. So what happens to the 15%? So if you do not network, you don't know much, people out there. What happens to you? What is your, that means you have just 15% jobs to compete for, which makes it very, very hard. Let me try to correct something. I know maybe where we come from. When we talk about referral, sometimes when we talk about referral, we usually back home. We usually say that maybe somebody knows somebody, then all the interview process that you should go through, and you should be judged fairly. They will just keep it. And you just, before you know it, you just come and start on Actually, it happened to me when I was in part 4 in Ife at that time. So we wanted to go for a 6-month IT. So people were, although I live in Akure, but most of us in school they want to go and do IT in Lagos, things like that. It's cool. So I applied to this company. It's an IT company. And the IT company gave us a test, something like to test our IQ. And I discovered that the test they gave us, that day everybody came, things like that. Of course, it was very easy. I got it. But to my surprise, I discovered that they did not, they have already known who they would pick even before they administered those kind of tests. So those are the kind of things that some places that happen. That the referral we're talking about is just to know whatever happens, don't worry, you'll be the one that will just. That's not what happens, in outside Nigeria, especially Hong Kong. Referral doesn't guarantee you that you get a job. I'll give you an example here in Hong Kong. I got a referral to a finance company, a very big company, finance company, and. So I know somebody that's working there, so I told you, I sent my CV. I went through several interviews, and it took only those. Anyway, I didn't get the offer though. I didn't get the offer, but what I want to find out here is that the interview questions were actually standard, and they were actually tough, standard, and not that somebody, maybe they knew that somebody was working in that company and I got referred and they would treat me very well. No. It was tough, and it has to be like that, which I'm happy for. I was very happy for. So it's a different referral, from back home, and I believe maybe some of us, when we go back home, we can implement this kind of referral. Right?
Yes.
We will change the system. Change, right? All right. So that's why we need to network, and we can do that. Maybe when you attend conferences as well, when you meet, when you have workshop. When there's a new person, try to network, try to establish relationships. I have said this before, build your professional network, especially through the LinkedIn. If you are looking for a job and you don't have your profile on LinkedIn, well, I don't know. I'm not saying you will not get a job, but I think you have more opportunities if you do that. You can showcase your skills and what you've got. Also, this part also is very important as far as networking and relationship is concerned. You remember the orders I mentioned? I made mention of people trying to find who would be their referee, who would provide reference letter, for them, when they get a job. So that's why it's very important you keep an healthy relationship with your classmates, with the teachers, supervisor, or advisor, wherever, whichever applies to you. The reason for this is that, some of these people, if you have a good relationship with them, some of these can recommend you. I was talking about referral. Some of this can give you like, oh yeah, I know this person, go to this company, they will do that. I remember one of the lecturer in my department that I worked with, I was TA with, she was the one that told me about a vacancy in the company I first worked for in Hong Kong. was the one that saw this company, they have openings. Can you go there and apply? And eventually, I still use the same lady to be my referee, things like that. If I didn't have a good relationship with her, do you think she will be able to get concerned? Even my supervisor as well, because it happens that my supervisor, I don't know why, that she hasn't got enough grant, things like that. Difficult to be able to get a job with him. So therefore, even all of us, most of us, has to be looking for job outside. So it was difficult. But what am I talking about is that my supervisor was sending me job openings. He was sending me job openings in other universities and other things like that. Apply here, apply here. Why? Because there is a healthy relationship. It's very important. Even my research lab mates, he also said, somebody contacted him on LinkedIn that they are looking for a particular person to work with VPN, Virtual Private Networks. It's a VPN company, and they contacted him, but he was not graduating because I was a year senior. He was not graduating, but what did he do? He just said that I'm going to refer someone to you, things like that, and he just connect me with the person, and that's how we started to pursue that job. So what am I talking about is that good relationship with your classmates, with your teachers, with your supervisor, they are very, very important, to help you skate through whatever challenges come your way while you're searching for a job. So that's all for the plan aspect. So let's go to prepare, which means that if you just plan without taking actions, all those things we talked about, they are just on paper or somewhere, but we need to take actions. That is, prepare to take actions, which means start executing your plans. And so most of the plan may be networking, things like that. Execute your plans. Maybe you have a need to say, where can I learn how to write good CV? Where can I learn how to write good cover letter? Where can I learn how to really answer or how to really convince an employer of that I'm the right candidate for this? And another thing here is that you also need to attend job fairs. I know most universities, this is a good thing about Hong Kong University and also other universities in advanced countries. I think maybe recently some universities in Nigeria have started doing that. But I remember, I know some people that we graduated from some universities here in Nigeria, but I know that time it was very few. I think they don't even, it's not called job fair. We don't have job fair back home in Nigeria. That's a company that like several companies will come, they will come and just say, you should take this and that. I understand the reason. Maybe not many openings, right? Just because of high unemployment rate. But here there is opportunity for job fair. Job fair, especially when it comes to the end of the semester. It doesn't necessarily mean end of the second semester. Because some people can graduate in the first semester, or the fall term, or the springtime, or whatever they call it, or the first and second. Let's time it as that. So some can graduate at the end of that first semester, and some can graduate at the end of the second semester. So in this, so these companies will come around to come and advertise their company. And my experience over the years that I attended all this job fair is that it appears that this company are trying to ask you to come and see what they are doing. Like they are trying to come to our company. Like they are begging us to say come and work for us, things like that. So attend job fair, because when you attend job fair, you'll be able to see what are the opportunity out there, and you don't necessarily need to wait until your final year. Don't wait until maybe when I want to. No, even in your first year, go and see what they are doing. Go and see what skills are sought after now. Go and see how things are doing. What are the things they are asking for? When you know that, along the line, you can equip yourself with that. Attend job fair, and also try to visit your university career page very often. Because they post many things there. Workshop. They can put on workshop there. Career talk, a company is visiting, maybe Microsoft is visiting your university. Also, they can put CV writing workshop. I remember in ANSHK, I attended cover letter writing workshop, CV rewriting workshop. It doesn't mean you may not have known it all. Don't say I've known it all. You can always find new things there. Also, another thing you need to also do, or you can do, is share your CV and cover letter with friends or colleagues or people that you believe that they can, give further thought or further input in order to improve the CV and get their feedback. So here, don't just stick to the information provided by your university. Try to look elsewhere. Now, LinkedIn posts a lot of job opportunities on their website. Also, there's this job, DB, Glassdoor, Indeed, things like that. And still, what I used to do is that when I see job advert, I haven't read it. Even if it's a third party that advertises it, I will still go to the company website and see how it is. So that's that's just the prepare to take action. There are still more to that. There is more actions to take, which means that when you see a job advert, try to digest it very well, understand what they are asking for, and try to identify your suitability. See, am I suitable for this? But sometimes when we are looking for our suitability, sometimes we do get discouraged that, oh, I do not meet this requirement, or I don't meet this requirement, they cannot employ me, and that discourages you, things like that. Like I said here, still apply. You're not paying for it. If you have time, I know time is very valuable, still apply. And let me just really share something before I move on because of time. There was a job when I finished my master's degree, I was in Thailand. There was a job that was advertised, and this job, they were asking for a particular skill I do not have, things like that. But I still applied. But something happened. There was a two-week job I did for a company about energy and development, things like that, and I had to use that experience to convince them that though I do not have my background is not related to this, but I believe these 2 weeks that I have been able to do that. And lo and behold, when I got the job in that company, the manager told me that it was the cover letter that convinced me. So please develop your cover letter very well. So because of time, let me quickly run this. So another thing, try to tailor your CV and cover letter to the requirement of the job. Don't have one size fit all thing. Don't do that. Try to fit. I know it's time consuming, but try and keep it 2-page maximum. Somebody told me about this Elon Musk CV and just a page. Of course, I know why it can only be a page. Elon Musk, everybody knows him, right? So that's fine. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that Elon Musk is somebody who has achieved a lot. He has a lot of skills, right? Which means when you say your skills, you don't need too much words. Just put the active and the actions word there. Oh, I can do this. I did this. This was the result. Things like that. And try to ready all your materials way before deadline, and take a second look at it and with reference to the job advert, and try to convince, which means that submit and wait for call. Suppose you get an interview request, ensure the date is fine by you. Go back, read about the company, know their vision, their interest, know your CV very well, your cover letter, learn from the company past. If you know somebody who have worked there, ask them, and showcase your communication skill, interpersonal relationship, things like that. And go ahead to further convince them, which means that there could be several rounds of interviews. Don't be afraid, always be ready, and always ask them when will they get back to you. It could take many forms, face-to-face, phone, Skype, whatever. It's called interview. They just want to know you. They want to see how you can express yourself, how you can promote and sell yourself. And also make sure you always prepare questions for the interviewers. And the last one, which is persevere. Don't worry, just a single slide. Persevere, yes. That's why I call it a loop. We never give up after a number of rejection or we don't hear from them. Don't give up. Just keep persevering, And it doesn't mean that when you do that kind of, when you persevere, you just go ahead and repeat the same thing. No, because we say that, if we do not change it, the result may not change. Which means that if the same thing continues and we don't like it, try to re-strategize, talk to people who can help, try to network more, and then if there's need to advance your skill set, do that, and try to sell yourself with this, and I believe that that job will come. All right, so in summary, I just want to assure you that there are great opportunities out there in Hong Kong, and if you get to have a chance to work in Hong Kong, it's a good addition to your CV. And when people see how they respect your experience in Hong Kong, because they see Hong Kong as kind of efficient city. And remember the 3 P's: plan, prepare, and persevere. And don't be afraid to try or learn new things. Don't say that, oh, the job is not in my area. See how you can contribute. What skills can be applied there? And that's all I have for the time being.
Thank you very much, James, for the presentation. So I have 2 questions, right? So the first one is, so basically in Hong Kong here, like if you're studying here, I'm not sure, from my knowledge, you can't do internships, like unlike in the UK where you can take some internship that can help you build your career, right? Well, I don't know, do they have like, so you said you should go to our like university job career pages. Do you have like internship opportunities for maybe for students to like undergo? Are we allowed to do that based on our visa? I'm not sure. Anyone PhD, MPhil, or PhD and MPhil, or not undergraduate, PhD and MPhil. The second question is this: so by hindsight now, like I don't know when you are doing your PhD whether you actually wanted to work in industry, right? I'm not sure about that, but based on experience of hindsight now, so if you had planned to work in the industry, what would you have done differently during your PhD, like to prepare you faster or better to work in the industry now?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. So I'll start from the first one. Let's talk about the internship. I think as a student, your university can give a supporting letter to do internship. It also comes with if the company is looking for an internship. And one way I believe you can write to a company, for example, is maybe you go to the website of the company, try to see what they do. If they do something similar to what you're doing, and see and request, send an email, or you call them, do you have opening for an intern? Things like that, requests. Or in some department they can advertise, or company can say, okay, we are looking for an intern. So with your student visa, I believe your university can write a letter, and there's a clause like that from the Director of Immigration that you can, in the summer, you can do, I don't know, maybe you can do full-time job, right? Hourly paid job. So in any case, in summary, I've seen people who do intern in Hong Kong, even with student visa. It's possible. Okay, it's possible to, but you need to get approval from your department and from your university and the willingness of the company that wants to take you. So I hope that is answered, right?
Yeah, but in a case where, okay, let's say you want to do an internship, right, and your supervisor doesn't seem to have the time to do that internship.
That's the issue. That's the issue. Your contract wants your time.
So, and when you do internship, it must be something, related to your research. Something that will contribute to your, not that you want to do it to make money. You want to do
it to learn a skill.
Yeah, to learn what that is valuable to your research. You get a point. So your supervisor was approved, definitely. Even I've seen supervisors that recommend their students for an internship. Things like that. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the other part asking me if I had planned to work in industry. Even before I started my PhD, people have been asking me, even when I was in undergraduate, or let me say when I finished secondary school, I already look forward and say this is where I can be in the future. I can either be in the industry or I be in the academic. I've been preparing my mind for that for such a long time. And why do I say that? Because I see myself and I see some kind of trait in me that I believe that, okay, I can do well in industry and also in academics. And so along the line, any opportunity I see, maybe, for example, I told you about the 2-week job I quickly, did for an energy company. I don't knowing that I'm going to get a job, in an energy related company, things like that. So I already prepared my mind for that. But I understand why you have the question, but for someone who didn't prepare his mind for that, what I would say is that the society has changed over time. And even in industry, even in academics, maybe someone can confirm this with me, that they still look for the skills that you have been able to apply and show result for it. For example, somebody was saying that there's no way you can show somebody you know how to do this thing without having a paper. Like your paper should showcase that you can do this. Your paper should showcase that you can do this. So in the long run, I think the whole thing comes to the fact that your know-how, rather than the degree you have, rather than your certificate, is basically your know-how. And your know-how, is actually embedded in the skills you can acquire even while doing your research. So what I would say is that while you pursue your academic research, try to see if you can acquire some useful skills as well. You never know where you will find yourself tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. Regarding Hong Kong and the job search, in my little experience, many a times a clause of language is always attached. What, in your experience, does this really matter? And then if it matters, how do you, for many of us, learning those strokes, it's very easy. It's more than Python.
This is a very, very good and fascinating question. And I'll say this. Let me give this example. In the first company I worked for, there was a position, although it's kind of secretariat position. So I asked them that, will they take any person, non-Chinese? So the HR told me that no, as long as the non-Chinese can both read and write. I said somebody is non-Chinese, they can, if you can both read and write. So it's a big factor. I know. I've seen a lot of people who get disqualified or didn't go ahead because of that language. But I just want to assure you that there are still some openings there that may not require the language, competency, things like that. So what I would just say is that try to keep searching. You will come across those that will not require the language. I know some people are saying that maybe it's common in IT. I have seen people some people who graduated from poly, from master degree, and they are working in construction company. I'm not talking about the hard labor, maybe the skill aspect of it. And I've also seen somebody who graduated from Imperial, PhD, and he worked for a very big construction company here in Hong Kong for a few years before moving back to. So they are there. You just need to keep searching. Don't give up. That's why I put persevere. Just keep searching. Don't be discouraged. One day you will come across that your dream job. And of course, you can also take opportunity to learn. You can also take opportunity to learn. Try to learn. Some people don't have that that flair for the language, but just if you can learn, try to learn.
Okay, so what's your industry? What's your
industry?
I work for Huawei.
Oh, Huawei.
So
in Hong Kong or
in Hong Kong?
Shenzhen.
I used to see you at Science Park.
Oh, really?
That's our own
The
question.
The kitchen. Do you remember?
I cannot. Maybe I will meet you after. Maybe a few blocks in Science Park easily to recognize things like that. Okay, I'll meet you after that introduction.
Okay, last question. The question I want to ask is, Two questions. First is the two questions I have. Is how do you said you have to be careful who does your reference for you. How do you avoid toxic? That's the first question. Then the second question is what's the difference between the referral and the networking?
Referral and networking. Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
So the first one, how do you avoid toxic references? Let me give this example also. There's someone that I know, he was applying for postgraduate studies, things like that. And, he told me about a problem that he faced that he said the person is asked, I think maybe his supervisor, I don't know. He said the person is asking for reference, told him that if I write for you, I will write a good one for you. He said, I'm going to write a bad reference for you, so don't bring it to me. There are people like that that
it's still a good person.
Open up to you.
It's a good person.
And some may not
get you.
But what I will say is this. That's why healthy relationship is very important. There's no one you have a healthy relationship with that will tell you that that will go and give you a very poisonous or bad relationship. A good relationship is very important. And from your relationship, because you have a relationship, you'll be able to know that this person can indeed write something good for you. This person can write something good for. For example, one of my colleagues in my research lab, he has put my name as one of his referee, things like that. That we can put if we don't have good relationship, he wouldn't ask me to write reference letter for him. So establish a good relationship, then you'll be able to know, this person can do it well, this person can do it better. Things like that. So for the other, exactly. So for the other one, networking and referral, I think.
But you've not answered the
how can you
avoid? You just said
the point is this. How do you avoid it? Now you don't know what the person can do, right? But you can infer. For example, if I'm looking for I need reference letter, I know who I believe that they are not going to write something bad about me. It's not about because of the relationship we've had between you and the person. So that's why relationship is not built in a day. You get to build it over time, and that over time you understand who the person is. Some people here, they know that I cannot go and meet this person for reference. They know. You get a corner. So relationship you build, don't just build it, try to seek and know something about the other party. Can this person do this? Can this person do that? Is it?
I think that's why they always include the number of years you have been in a relationship. How many years have you known this person? So your relationship with the person will actually help you out. If you have more than 5 years, cordial relationship, I think.
Even with the point is that even with 5 years relationship, it may still some people may still say that they are not going to write something good, things like that. But what I'm saying is that it is on you to know who can write something good about you. If you are, for example, you work with some people and you do your work very well. If you work with some people and you work very well, don't expect to work nonchalantly or you work anyhow and you are asking somebody you work like that way to write something. No. Don't. You're just going to write average or fair, reference letter. Whenever you have any opportunity to deal with people, do things well. Try to showcase, your potential, your competence, things like that. So that when they have to do that tomorrow, they won't need to spend too much time. Okay, is this person good or is this something like this? Is it okay now?
Thank you.
So we can talk about that because of that.